Back in the 1990s, there was a term that came about called online. And, that's kind of an ubiquitous term nowadays with the internet revolution the way it is. But back then, if you were online, you were on the cutting edge of technology and of style and of class. And so now you say online, well, that pretty much everybody gets to be online, whether it's, cell phones, computers, you're watching online right now. But back in the 1990s, that really meant something ahead of most people. So in 1991, a German couple formed a pen company, and they called themselves Online Pens. And they've kind of kept the name. And some things have changed about the name, but what they try to do really hasn't. I've got 4 of their pens here. Online Pens they're not a brand that's real popular here in America. They are out there, and you can find them at some major retailers online. Get the pun. But I bought mine, all of these, from one of the sellers that I've dealt with a lot, who sells almost exclusively on eBay, and that's Spear Bob. And he's actually the next state over, and I've got a chance to meet Bob at a pen show. But you can find Goldspot pens, Jet Pens, Pen Boutique, Pen Chalet. Those companies will be authorized dealers for online. But they're not a tremendously popular pen here in the U.S. Not one of the big names that you hear about. But they are fairly popular over in Europe. And they distribute to, I thought, 36 or 50-some countries across the globe. And as a matter of fact, what I'll do is I will post a link down below in the video description to a YouTube video for Online Pens, as well as their website, and as well as to Spear Bob. And you can actually do some more reading for yourself and some investigation into what they have. But the company video will tell you about their company, how they started, and where they're going. Generally, the price range for online pens, about $20 US is where they generally start. I can tell you through Bob at Spear Bob, I've gotten these pens for $15 or so, plus or minus $1 either way. And but generally you can find 16 euros on up to 90 euros are where most of the pens fit in the price range for online branded pens, but they go all the way up. Their highest pen that I could see on their website was $350 US, or excuse me, 350 euros. Got to get that right. Okay, so here in front of me, I've got the AL2, from what I understand, the Xpand, which is the only one of these I have inked up right now, the Vision series. So the Vision line is kind of interesting and is still in production, and this is their business line. This was the first one that I had gotten because it seemed, for a decent price, $15, it looked okay, and it's got the online logo right there on the clip, and this is like a hard rubber kind of thing for a grip, and the pen is a little different than what you're probably used to. Boop, you pull it out, and you slide it in. And that's how you would use that particular pen. It's got a tapered, fairly, not a steep taper, but a long taper, and that is a very smooth, chromed out section. And so some people don't necessarily like that. I can deal with it, but it is a little slick on that. But it's not bad. This is actually not a bad writing pen. It's not inked up right now. As a matter of fact, you can see it's probably got still a little ink on that nib. This one was in my to clean up box that I carry or keep here at my desk. And it is a cartridge converter pen. You can see that standard international converter is pretty much out of ink. So this is one that is going to have to be cleaned up. But I got some good use out of this particular pen. So I can tell you it's been reliable and it's been fairly smooth. This particular pen, their Vision series, is one that I have not used. It's still, it came just like you see. I just took it out of the cellophane wrap for this video for the very first time. And this particular pen, I haven't even opened it. I haven't taken the cap off from it as of yet. But it's got a plastic section there. It is a cartridge converter pen in this one. does come with a converter. I did not know that until just now, because you were seeing the very first time I'm opening up this particular pen. I did not buy this for myself. I bought it for somebody else, and I don't think she's going to watch this video, so I may be safe on that. This one too, the AL2, from what I understand, and there's no marking or model on it, but it came in this kind of presentation box, and it's got that little magnetic closure there, and it seemed pretty cool. I mean, I like the color purple. The person who's going to end up with this pen likes the color purple, so I figured I'd go ahead and give that one a shot as well. I mean, 15 bucks, I mean, come on. So I figured that was going to be a decent purchase, that I'm going to give that away as well and gift it. But this one I bought for myself. This is their X-Pand, X-P-A-N-D. So it came in that kind of a presentation, and you pull it out, and there you go. I kind of like the shape to it. I kind of like the curve. You know, kind of like my pen, the way I like my women. A little bit of curve to them. But this one has a serious taper down, and I thought that was kind of interesting, considering how wide the hips, if you will, go here. But knowing online, only because I've had one, I knew how well it wrote. So I kind of liked that idea. So I was intrigued by this one. Had no idea how it was going to write, had no idea how well it was going to function, but here is the cap. And I don't know if you saw that, but this right here, this is why they call it the X-Pand. So you put that cap on, and this retracts here inside the pen. It is a spring-loaded section that will come out. And it just unscrews like you would a normal section. And I can tell you right now, I've got a cartridge in here. I tried putting a converter in here, and I will tell you that I ruined the converter. I put in a standard international plastic converter, and it literally broke the end of the converter off inside of here. So I learned real quick, I'm not going to try another one to see how well that works. I'm just going to go ahead and put a standard international cartridge on it for now, and probably henceforth evermore. When I first looked at it, I said, okay, it's got Iridium Point Germany on the nib, but I also see that it is branded Online. So they actually have their own IPG nibs. IPGs can be a crapshoot. Sometimes they're great, sometimes not so much, but they do have their own branded IPG nibs. So I figured, great, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you about dealing with Spear Bob, at least. Number one, I've been happy with Bob. I bought a lot of pens from Spear Bob over the past couple of years. Spear Bob is, his first name is Bob, but the Spear part is part of his last name, and he actually told me the story of how they came up with that name. But anyway, I can tell you that this model is still in production, I do believe, or at least this series, model series, is still in production. I do not believe, from what I could see on the Online corporate website, that these are in production. So I don't know if it's that Bob ended up getting a whole bunch of pens that were like new old stock, and typically models that they don't have anymore or produce anymore, and he got them fairly on the cheap and turns around and retails them. And if so, I've got no problem with that. I don't have to have their latest and greatest model. And like I said, I bought this one out of curiosity some time ago. I thought it was a great writer, so I went ahead and took the risk on the others. So feel free to check out his site, some of the other sites, and see the models. And I'll put links to all, well, at least to the corporate website, so you can take a look at their site. And I'll put a link to Bob's website, or at least to get to his website, so you can find his stuff on eBay. And I'm not going to do that for the others, only because, you know what? You want to know about them? You can look them up. Try to write with this X-Pand model, because like I said, it's the only one that it is currently inked up. So, this is the Online. This is the X-Pand. And this is a medium nib. I put into here an ink cartridge that I do believe is a Diamine Sapphire Blue. I think that's what it is. I'd have to go look again, but they only had two different blues in that package, and I thought it was Sapphire Blue, but I may be wrong. And I will tell you, this is a very smooth, and it is a very wet nib. I've been pretty happy with this particular pen. This was my pen of the day at least a week ago or so, and it still is doing very, very well. I was impressed with it once I first inked it up. It was greatly above what I thought it would be. Put it that way. It was a better quality write than I thought. Of course, you've got that fairly smooth section here, just like you do on the business line. So let me pull up the business line and put these side by side so you can see. I mean, the sections look fairly similar in the fact that they're smooth, and they're not all that far off. They are a little bit different in terms of how they are doing, and they're just a hair different in design. But still, if you don't like having a smooth section, you're really not going to like this particular pen. If you're like me and you take the pen no matter what it is and actually just write with it, deal with it, and enjoy it for what it is, then you'll be just fine with it. Now, it's a fairly stiff nib, but I can get a little bit of line variation out of this particular nib. It's got just a tiny bit of spring to it, not a tremendous amount, but you can see the tines do widen out a little, and I do get a good amount of line variation. But it's done pretty good for me. So, if you're looking for an economical pen, you're looking for something that is a little bit different, you might want to try Online. One of the cool things about Online is they are aimed at an awful lot at students in the affordability price range that people can get and enjoy. And what they often do is they come up with designs that they invite children to submit annually. If I recall, they were having a design contest. So kids would submit their designs and they may end up on one of their pens. So, and they don't do just fountain pens. They'll do ballpoints, and they'll also do roller balls and that kind of thing. But apparently they've got a pretty good market in Europe and a good following amongst lower end student pen users. So if that's the kind of thing, if that's a price range that you're looking at, and if you're looking for stuff that's a little different, a little stylish, you might want to check out Online pens. All right, so just giving you some exposure to a brand you may not be all that familiar with here in the U.S., and I only found them because, like I said, the website that I go to often and shop, and a guy I buy from on a regular basis had been carrying them, and once I found one that I liked, I went ahead and bought some more, and I'm going to give some away to people that I know. All right, so there you go. Hey, thanks for watching. I know it's been a little while since I've been able to record, but with the whole stay-at-home order and lockdown, I got 3 kids at home and 2 dogs and a wife, and sometimes working from home and putting up with all the aforementioned, it's a little loud. So, but thank you for watching, guys. Appreciate you all, and hopefully you get another idea of something to buy for your collection.